Okay. Hello, this is McD the Beast, and this is McD Sports 4 coming to you today, uh, giving you my reaction to the final rankings of the top 25. We're going to go over my top 25 as well here that I did last night. I just didn't get on last night because I was too tired. But I do have my final rankings, and I'll go over my final rankings, comparing them to the college football playoff committee's final rankings here. Um, so basically, yesterday, a few upsets, obviously, in the Big 12 and the SEC championships, and the Mountain West championship. Don't get me wrong with that. But basically, final ones. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Okay, as I've been saying, it's been a great postseason. So let's get into it. We're gonna kick it off with the I guess you'll call it the top six, and then I'll go through 7 through 25. I do agree with 1 through 4. I think they got the 4 spots correctly. I also had Alabama 1, Michigan 2, Georgia 3, and Cincinnati 4. 5 and 6, in my opinion, should be flipped. I think Ohio State would beat Notre Dame or a neutral field. I get that you put it's a 10-2 team ahead of a 11-1 team. I get that. And I guess you got to put Notre Dame 5 since they are a one-loss team. But you look at Ohio State, I just think they're a better team than Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame's resume took a hit yesterday. You look at and the reason why I do think that is because of the Big Ten championship game with Iowa, who lost to Wisconsin, also got blown out by Michigan. Ohio State didn't play Iowa or Wisconsin; they played Minnesota, and Minnesota did beat Wisconsin. So that's why I actually think Ohio State's resume is a little bit better than Notre Dame's as well. I agree with number 7, Baylor. 8 and 9, those two should be flipped in my opinion. Um, I mean, I guess you could sit there and say Ole Miss is number 8 and Oklahoma State should be number 9. But I have those two flipped. I think Oklahoma State should be number 8. I still think Oklahoma State is a really good team. I mean, they lost that game by inches against Baylor. Those teams play 100 times. And I think I did say this that when they play each other in the regular season, it's going to be 50-50. It's going to be the record through those 100 games. So, and at this time, Baylor won by a few inches. So, in my opinion, um, I do give Oklahoma State a bit credit for getting to the Big 12 championship game, unlike Ole Miss. Now, Ole Miss, you could make the argument that their resume got boosted up because of Alabama being Georgia, which did surprise me. I did not expect Georgia to give up more than like 27 points in that game. So that did surprise me. But I think those two should be flipped. I have Oklahoma State 8, Ole Miss 9. I agree with Michigan State at 10. I agree with Utah at 11. I agree with Pitt at 12. I get why BYU's 13 because they have some wins, including over number 11 Utah. But I think BYU, I have them all the way down at 16. I mean, those just parts of that resume. I know they beat some Pac-12 teams. Here, I'll pull their schedule up here in a second. I know they beat some Pac-12 teams, BYU, including Utah. But I mean, there's just parts of that resume that I just was not really impressed with, um, such as the South Florida game. They did beat Utah State. More on them in a second. They lost to Boise State. Disappointing year for Boise State. They did lose to Baylor. Um, but I mean, Idaho State, Georgia Southern. I felt like that game against Southern Cal should have been more of a than a 4-point game. So same thing with the Arizona game. I mean, there was just parts of that resume I just couldn't really buy myself into. So instead of BYU at 13, I have them at 16. The team I actually have at 13 is Houston, who's at number 20. I think Houston got disrespected big time in this poll. In these polls, I know Houston. They were runners up in the American. They lost the American Championship game against Cincinnati, and I thought they competed in that game. I mean, 11-2, 8-1 the American. I mean, the Texas Tech loss, not. I mean, Texas Tech, they're a bowl team, but 17-point loss, not that good. But you beat everybody else. I know the Navy game. I mean, Cincinnati also struggled against Navy. East Carolina, they're a bowl team. The South Florida game was a bit disappointing. South Florida, looking at these, South Florida might have been more competitive than what I thought um, throughout the season. But overall, I thought Houston got disrespected in this poll and throughout the season. I have Houston number 13. Number 14, Texas A&M. Yeah, I know they're 8-4. They beat Alabama, the number one team in the country. I know that loss to LSU was kind of unacceptable, but I know they're 8-4. But I think that team's a lot better than that 8-4 record. Number 14, Texas A&M. The poll has Oregon at number 14. I have Oregon at number 15. Um, Listen, you look at Oregon, they still have that win against Ohio State, which I do think is a very good win. Um, but in my opinion, I think the two losses to Utah, I mean, they weren't even close to Utah. I mean, Utah by far is the best team in the Pac 12, in my opinion. So, number 15, Oregon, 16, BYU. The poll has, the poll has Iowa at 15, I have Oklahoma at 16. I have Oklahoma at 17. Oklahoma, it looks like I'm going to talk about Oklahoma's coaching situation right now. It looks like they're going to hire Brett Venables as their head coach. My opinion about that is I think it's a good hire. I do question his recruiting, only because I mean he was behind Dabo Sweeney for a long time. I know he has ties to Oklahoma. I believe he was there from 1999 to 2011, so he does have ties there. Oklahoma is a good job, and I do expect Oklahoma to be competing to at least get to that Big 12 championship game next year, possibly even winning the Big 12. We'll see. But I think the good news about this hire is that Oklahoma's defense is going to be a lot better at the worst 2-3 years down the road. I mean, Oklahoma's gonna have a very good defense 2-3 years down the road, in my opinion. So that's the good news if you're Oklahoma. Oklahoma number 17. Um, Number 18, NC State. They're number 18 as well in the final playoff post. No problems there. Um, Number 19, Clemson. They're also number 19 in my poll as well. No problems there. Number 20, Arkansas. They're number 21 in the final rankings. I think Arkansas had an amazing year. I know Arkansas, 8-4 team as well. They beat the number 14 team in this poll, so you might think that Arkansas should be ahead of A&M, but I do think that win over Alabama is huge for A&M. But I mean, the Auburn loss was bad. They've hung 35 on Alabama. That's more than what Georgia did hung on them. So I think Arkansas hung the most points on them this year on Alabama. So I mean, in my opinion, Arkansas, I think they're a top 25 team. Up to 20, Arkansas. Up to 21, Iowa. Very disappointing loss. I don't think they're a top 20 team personally. Iowa. I do think they're a top 25 team. That's why they're at number 21. Number 22, Wisconsin. Yeah, I kept them in the top 25, even though I don't really think they deserve to be in the top 25. Um, they kind of went on a tear in that second half. I couldn't drop them from 16 to out of the poll, so I put them in number 22. And then the college football playoff poll, they have Wake Forest and Kentucky. Wake Forest is 17, uh, Kentucky at 22. Those two teams are not in my poll. I think Kentucky kind of just was the second best team in the SEC East, and they kind of just got there by default. Wake Forest, they were actually number 21 in the last poll, um, and I kind of just kicked them out of the poll at number 21 since they lost. But number 23, Louisiana, um, they're going to be looking for a new head coach. As you know, Billy Napier, who's taking the Florida job. My opinion about Billy Napier taking the Florida job, I do think it's an upgrade because I do think he will recruit better. I don't know if he's going to be Georgia though consistently. I just don't know. A bit of a side note, a bit irrelevant, about the former head coach of Florida, Dan Mullen. I came on here and said Dan Mullen should be taking. It should be offered the Virginia Tech job, the Washington State job, and the TCU job. Obviously, he wasn't uh, offered any of those three jobs. And on another side note, good hire by Virginia Tech getting the Penn State defensive coordinator. I think that's a great hire. But Dan Mullen was on College Game Day yesterday. He should be on TV. That guy's really good on TV. I'm just gonna say that. I could definitely see him on TV next year. I think he's very good on TV. But you look at number 23, Louisiana. They're also number 23 in my poll. They kept San Diego State, and then they kept San Diego State in the poll as well. The final college football player poll. I disagree with that. I think they should be kicked out of the top 25. Um, the San Diego State, because I actually think the conference champion of the Mountain West, which I'll get into in a second, because I have UTSA on number 24. I got them back in the poll, 12-1. I mean, what can I say? They're 12-1. I know the resume is really weak, but I mean, they are your Conference USA champions at 12-1. I got to put them in the poll somewhere in number 24. And then number 25, Utah State. Utah State, they were horrible last year. Blake Anderson comes in, they win the Mountain West. So I know San Diego State had issues with COVID. 46-13 is pretty impressive, though. So I picked Utah State in number 25. I think they deserve to be in the top 25. So I picked them in number 25. So as I said, the two teams I dropped out here were San Diego State and Wake Forest. Um, so basically, that's what happened with the top 25. But I agree with the four teams, seeded 1 through 4. I think the College Football Playoff Committee got that perfectly. I do think it was close between Alabama and Michigan. I do. But I think Alabama being Georgia is just a bit more impressive than Michigan blowing out Iowa 42-3. I'm fine with Georgia at 3. Cincinnati, I'm fine with them at 4. I would flip Notre Dame and Ohio State. Excuse me. Yeah, I would flip Notre Dame and Ohio State. I think Notre Dame should be 6, Ohio State 5, but that's just me. But besides that, I think all the teams that deserve to make a New Year's Six bowl. I agree with the top 12 overall. A few of the rankings I have mixed up, but I think they did a good job this year, the college football playoff rankings. I have no complaints whatsoever. Um, so that's basically my opinion about the rankings. I already talked about. I'm going to talk about a few other things involving some of these New Year's Six bowl games and a few other things as well. Here I'll get the if I could get a bowl schedule, that could be huge. See if I can get a bowl schedule out. All right, so I have the bowl schedule out right here. Not all the bowls have been mentioned yet as of right now, but I'll talk about the New Year's Six bowls. And then I'll talk. I do want to talk about a particular team in college football. New Year's Six bowls, they came out. We'll kick it off with the Rose Bowl. That's going to be number 6 Ohio State versus number 11 Utah, and the McDee's Force 4 pool, which is the only pool, in my opinion, that matters. It's going to be number 5 Ohio State versus number 11 Utah. Yeah, I mean that's what I expected the Rose Bowl to be. No complaints there. Um, Other bowls, the the I had the bowl games on here. They only showed me the Rose Bowl here, but I have other bowl games here. Give me a second. Um, Give me a second here. All right. So other bowl games. The Fiesta Bowl, Oklahoma State versus Notre Dame. Um, Marcus Freeman, he's going to be coaching his first ever game at Notre Dame. He got named the head coach since Brian Kelly went down to LSU. That should be a good game. I think that's gonna be a low scoring game. Baylor, Ole Miss. I think if whoever plays better defense in that game is gonna win that game, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens there. And then you had the one other game. not the that was the Sugar Bowl, the Baylor Ole Miss game, the Peach Bowl, Pitt versus Michigan State. Um, that should be the Patton on Duty Bowl. So that should be fun. Other bowl games that got announced. I can tell you that got announced. The Bahamas Bowl is going to be Middle Tennessee, Toledo. The Cure Bowl is going to be Northern Illinois and Coastal Carolina. That should be a good one. The Boca Raton Bowl is going to be Western Kentucky and Appalachian State. The New Mexico Bowl is going to be UTEP and Fresno State. The Independence Bowl is going to be UAB and BYU. The Lending Tree Bowl is going to be Eastern Michigan and Liberty. The New Orleans Bowl is going to be Louisiana and Marshall. The Myrtle Beach Bowl is going to be Old Dominion and Tulsa. The famous Idaho Potato Bowl is going to be Kent State and Wyoming. The Frisco Bowl, that's going to be UTSA and San Diego State. That's going to be a big game right there. Army's going to get in the Armed Forces Bowl. The Hawaii Bowl is going to be Memphis and Hawaii. The Taxac Camilla Bowl is going to be Georgia State and Ball State. Quick Lane Bowl is going to be Western Michigan and Nevada. East Carolina will get into the Military Bowl. Their opponent has not been named yet. And then the Alamo Bowl is going to be Oregon and Oklahoma. So you have some good bowl games there. I believe that's all the ones I have in front of me right now. They're not going to announce these bowl games until a little bit later. Maybe I could go on Twitter and maybe like you could get some sneak previews like usual. So we'll see what happens there. On maybe I could give you a few other bowl games here on Twitter. Let's see. Yeah, they just announced the Alamo Bowl, Oregon, Oklahoma. I'm trying to see. Okay, so I have Kentucky versus Iowa in the Citrus Bowl. Here, so Iowa versus Kentucky. That's from Brett McMurphy. That's supposedly going to be the Citrus Bowl there. Texas Tech versus Mississippi State in the Liberty Bowl. Utah State versus Oregon State in the LA Bowl. Virginia Tech will be facing Maryland in the Pinstripe Bowl. So I'm a Maryland Terps fan, so we'll be in the Pinstripe Bowl. Virginia Tech just beat us in basketball, so I'll have to get revenge on the football field. They're going to be running an interim coach out there, Virginia Tech, as well. The Sun Bowl is going to be Washington State versus Miami. Let's talk about Miami. What they're doing to Mario Cristobal is dirt. Not Mario Cristobal. What they're doing to Manny Diaz is dirty. There's no way around it. The same thing happened with Tom Herman last year. I thought that was dirty as hell. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Manny Diaz is a dead man walking. I mean, that's basically what's going on here. Miami's in extensive talks with Mario Cristobal. I do think Mario Cristobal will be an upgrade, unlike last season, where I thought that Texas was basically getting the same thing as Steve Sarkisian as they did in Tom Herman. But in my opinion, I do think that they're doing me and Diaz dirty. Mario Cristobal, I would stay at Oregon if I was him. I know, and listen, Miami came out saying they're going to make more of an investment in football. The way you do that is not firing a coach after 3 years. What they did that to Mark Rick, I thought that was wrong. They did it. They did it to the guy before him. I thought it was wrong. I can't think of his name. Al Golden. I thought that was wrong. If you're Miami, you gotta give a coach 5 years. So let's say Mario Christian. Let's say they do replace Manny Diaz with Mario Christian Ball. What he goes in there and let's say he goes 7-5 the first 2 seasons. Oh, he needs to be on the hot seat. He needs to be on the hot seat. He doesn't deserve to be on the hot seat. Miami needs to rebuild. I do think they're heading in the right direction with Manny Diaz. I do, but I mean, just be patient, Miami fans. Just be patient. They're announcing some of these bowl games right now. With they announcing the Alamo Bowl right now. The Alamo Bowl is always one of the better bowl games. I think it's the most underrated one, not named a New Year's Six Bowl. Air Force in Louisville in the First Responders Bowl. Boston College in East Carolina in the Military Bowl. Texas A&M and Wake Forest in the Gator Bowl. Let's see. North Carolina and South Carolina in the Duke Mayor Bowl. That's gonna be a good one right there. NC State and UCLA in the Holiday Bowl. Wisconsin and Arizona State in the Las Vegas Bowl. Music City Bowl is gonna be Tennessee and Purdue. I already saw that. Texas Bowl is gonna be Kansas State and LSU. Um, so those are some of the bowl games. Um, just trying to see anything else. No, that's all the ones I have right now. So, it looks as a Maryland Terps fan, if you're a Maryland Terps fan, it looks like we're going to be getting Virginia Tech in our bowl game. So that's good. We're getting an ACC opponent. I would love to beat Virginia Tech. I think we will. I actually think we will. So we'll see what happens. These things are going to be announced down the road. But I'm going to be doing a video picking all the bowl games, obviously. But just want to give you my reaction. I'm going to transition to football right now. There is NFL games going on right now. One other before I get into that, I do want to talk about the Carolina Panthers firing offensive coordinator Joe Brady. That is basically chicken, you know what, right there. Carolina is in a tough situation. I don't think they have the quarterback of the future. And let's be honest, Sam Darnold's a bust. Okay, it's blatantly obvious he's a bust. Maybe he could be a backup in this league. I actually think he will be a good backup in this league, but he's a bust. Cam Newton is not the quarterback of the future. Glad to see him back at Carolina Panthers jersey, but he's not the quarterback of the future. Oh yeah, breaking news. Louisiana has promoted Michael Desermex. I believe he was the defensive coordinator to the head coaching role, so he'll be coaching his first game as well. Uh, in their bowl game. I know I announced their bowl game already. I forgot who they face, but in my opinion, that's dirty by that is absolutely crap what Matt Wool did there. Matt Wool needs to make adjustments. They need to find a quarterback. If it's training for Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, they need to go ahead, find a quarterback. Games have ended yet. Bucks Falcons. Bucks have the ball. 27-17 Bucks. Falcons were in this game. This was a 20-17 game at halftime. Cardinals, they look like they're going to be beating the Bears 27-14 right now. Bears do have the ball driving down the field. Matt Nagy is trending on Twitter. Chargers, Bengals, Chargers. They're up 31-22. They were up big, 24-0 early. But Bengals are making a bit of a comeback. This game was 24-22. Chargers, they scored a touchdown just now to get to a two-possession game. Vikings, they're losing to the Lions 33. I mean, not 33, 23-21. I still think the Vikings are going to pull that one out, though. Dolphins, Giants. Looks like Dolphins are going to get the win here 17-6. I have no faith in the Giants whatsoever. So good for them. Eagles, no Jalen Hurts. Gardner Minshew starting. They look like they're getting ready to kick a field goal. It's 30-18 Eagles right now. Colts are shutting out the Texans 24-0. Your 4 o'clock games include Washington Raiders. That should be a good one. Jaguars Rams. Ravens Steelers. That's kind of the game of the week. Up there in Pittsburgh. Niners Seahawks. The Sunday night football game is Broncos Chiefs. And I actually think the game of the week's on Monday Night Football with Patriots Bills. So we'll see what happens down the stretch of these games. Great to see a group of 5 team in finally. It is great to see that finally. And I know those talks about when they're going to expand the playoffs because it's going to expand one of these next few years. So you'll get a group of 5 team in the playoffs every year, at least one. But in my opinion, it is great to see a group of 5 team to get in there. I was hoping someone different would get in there. There's actually 2 teams in there, Michigan and Cincinnati first playoff appearances since they started this in 2014. I was hoping Oklahoma State got in there, but it didn't surprise me that Oklahoma State lost to Baylor because whenever things look like they're finally going to go right for Oklahoma State, Mike Gundy, they go the opposite way. So I was happy to see Cincinnati get in there. I do. They have a shot to beat the Raiders. Washington does. We'll see what happens. I think I did pick the Raiders primarily because they're the home team. I could tell you who I picked though, um, here in a second, but it won't surprise me if Washington wins. Um, I already. Oh, this is the playoff one. They already have the playoff one already. I just want the regular season one. Yeah, I just want. Okay, why would they have the playoff one now already? Yeah, so I think I did the. I'm not gonna change my pick, but I think I did pick the. Yeah, I did pick the Raiders. It won't surprise me if Washington wins that game. Though I think that game's gonna be a close game either way. Um, I need the Vikings to pull one out. I need the Bengals to pull one out. So so far though, we're doing. It looks like we're doing good this week. You wanted to expand to 16. I would prefer to just to expand it to 8. But I do get the 16 team playoff. I do understand that. I get that argument now. Having every conference champion get auto bid. You're at the Monday night game against Seattle. I mean, it was an ugly game, but I was happy to see Washington win. My prediction on Seattle is going just fine right now. As a matter of fact, they were actually a lot worse than what I thought they were going to be. Seattle. I agree that they should at least get a good bowl bid. I do agree with that. So I know in the MAC the champion is 9-4, so that's why I'm not where the MAC isn't in the my final top 25. But every group of 5 champion besides the MAC champion, which is Northern Illinois, was in my top 25. I had Utah State at 25. I had UTSA at 24, and I had Louisiana at 23, and obviously Cincinnati was in there. And I also had Houston in the top 25 as well. Actually, I had Houston in the top 15. Um, so I was pretty high in Houston. That's why Houston got really disrespected in these polls. Not gonna lie about that. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just happy to see if you expand 16 with 6 at large, at least more teams like are in it late. I agree. I agree. I'm cool with the 12 team playoff. With the way they're having it, but yeah, with 6 at large bids, those 6 at large bids are probably going to be um they're probably just going to be the 6 Power 5 schools though. Not gonna lie about that. But like I'll look at it right now with their rankings. I'll tell you who will get in a 16 team playoff. I show Lovey Smith highlights of him coaching against Brett Favre with his 8 takeaways. So it will go Alabama 1, Michigan 2, it will go Cincinnati 3, it will go Baylor 4, it will go Utah 5, it will go in the ACC it'll go Pitt 6, and then it will be Louisiana 7, UTSA 8, and then Utah State 9, and then Northern Illinois 10, and then your 6 at large bids will be Georgia, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Ole Miss, Oklahoma State, and Michigan State. Those will be your 6 at large bids. So that will be how the playoff will be if it's 16. The NFL system is good. Even though with the 17 playoff, I mean, I guess it means more views, but Cardinals just scored a touchdown. But at the end of the day, I I mean, I do think the playoff needs to expand. I mean, I'm happy to see 2 new teams in it because they were forced to do it. But I was tired of Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State, Notre Dame, and Oklahoma being. I mean, it was basically those 6 teams. That's basically where it was. So I'm happy that it's 2 new teams. I had BYU down at 16. I'm okay with Michigan State. At, I'm okay with Michigan State in that final spot. Um, I think BYU had a great year. I just think BYU, though they beat the 4-0 against the Pac-12, I just think BYU. If you look at Michigan State, I think Michigan State has the better win overall, and B, I also think Michigan State's resume is better. Yeah, I mean Kirby Smart, his kryptonite's Nick Saban, but now I just came on here, reacted to some college football news, some NFL news. I'll be coming out with a bowl prediction video at some point. I do want to talk about some of these Major League Baseball free agent moves that happen. Because one team, which I didn't expect to spend, I knew they were going to go out and try to get somebody. They went out and got two large contracts. So I do want to talk about that. I do also want to talk about a few things involving the NBA as well. But I'm fine with these rankings for the most part. I mean, primarily you gotta look at the top 12 rankings because that's who's really getting into these New Year's Six bowls. Good luck to Maryland in the bowl game. I read it a bit earlier. It looks like they're going to be facing Virginia Tech in the Pinstripe Bowl, and good luck to Liberty as well. I know they're facing who's Liberty. Who's Liberty facing? I know their bowl game already got announced. Uh, who are they facing? Liberty. Eastern Michigan. So in the Lending Tree Bowl. So that's their bowl game. But yeah, Maryland looks like they're gonna be facing Virginia Tech there in the Pinstripe Bowl. I do expect Maryland to win that game, primarily because Virginia Tech is running an interim coach out there. But we'll see. I mean, Virginia Tech's not a bad team. I mean, so we'll see what happens. But I'm gonna wrap it up. I've been on here for 33 minutes. Thanks for watching the video. Hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. Very appreciate you do that. McD the Beast signing off.